For someone starting out observing movement, obviously we already established 53 plus years of observing athletes. Where would you recommend someone start if they're a novice coach?
First of all, are they set up right? Compare this to really good people or healthy people, or even these individuals when they're healthy. And then I look at key moments. So toe off. So there, the toes coming off the block. So where are their body parts and segments, postures at toe off? And then at touchdown, where are their body parts? What is the free leg recovery path? So if we look at the girl in the middle, free leg is coming across, the heel swinging across the midline, where the girl in the gray is pretty direct, and the guy on the right, he's swinging across the midline. So obviously there's proximal and tib-fib issues going down. So I'm looking at key moments: touchdown, toe off, touchdown and toe off, maybe mid-flight, like what's happening to the body in mid-flight. So those are kind of my starting spots. And then I'm going to look at posture. So we can see this guy on the left has a lot of lateral leaning compared to the girls there. And if we look at his lateral leaning to the left is real radical compared to the right. So I'm looking at asymmetries. So when he's on his left, he has a lot of lateral lean and spinal rotation. On the right, pretty normal. Left, really bad. Right, pretty normal. So I'm looking at asymmetries and these key moments at touchdown and toe off and mid-flight.
Yeah, and obviously we have the benefit of a hind view start. And something I very early on learned from you, Dan, is that you were constantly moving around the track to kind of change your vantage point and perspective. So there are obviously different things you can glean from a frontal versus a side perspective, or even watching from the rear. So in what instance, if you're looking for a certain aspect, you decide to position yourself where when you're watching movement?
In general, from a side view, you're going to get a planar analysis like touchdown distance and toe off distance, and maybe postural awareness, from a side view. From a frontal and rear view, you're going to get more of a rotational and movement pathway analysis than you would get from a side view.
Yeah, no, excellent. That's why it's always super important to change your vantage point. Some of the things you pointed out in terms of rotation, particularly for the male athlete, we possibly would not have been able to see as clearly if we'd watched this block start from a side view. So yeah, always important to change your vantage point as a coach and continue to not just stand in the same spot, but move around and get a different perspective.